Wait, say hi. You're gonna look. Guys, good morning, good afternoon, happy Friday. Welcome back to the science videos. I'm ready to start some new content next week. So here we go. So I first want to start off with shout out. So today's shout outs go to Zaire and Ian. Yay! Both completed all the assignments asked of you on STEM scopes and turned them in on time. So I appreciate that. Zaire. So many things that I miss about you. I think what I miss the most is just the fact that you were getting ready to do a really cool role for our spring concert that was going to happen for choir. So you were kind of bouncing your material off me and we were talking about it and I was excited about it and you were excited about it. So I definitely miss that. And I'm really hoping that next year, maybe we can try again and the whole thing that was supposed to happen this year can hopefully happen next school year. And Ian, I miss calling on you in class. I can pretty much always count on you to give me the right answer when I call on you. And I miss that about you. Also, over the last few weeks, you really started to kind of come out of your shell, and it was really cool watching your personality shine through. It was really cool to see your personality just kind of start to show and you become more comfortable and confident. So I miss seeing that every day. Go ahead and get into the lesson for today. So today is the last day of part 1 of Unit 5, Sharing the Planet. So remember, there was 3 parts to Unit 5, and the first part was producers, consumers, and food webs. So we're going to be wrapping that up today with one last look at food webs and food chains before we jump into the new stuff on Monday, okay? I don't know about y'all, but when I grew up, I didn't really enjoy science just because I didn't understand it. I never really had anybody to really break it all the way down to me the way that y'all do. And school was just taught differently when I was y'all's age anyways. So now that I'm on the other side of it and I'm teaching science, it's been really fun to see science in a new way. It's been interesting to learn about all the different concepts. It's been really cool to see how, no, science isn't that hard. It's just a lot of different material. You just need somebody who knows about it to explain it to you. So my love for science has grown throughout this year, and I hope yours is growing as well. That being said, let's go ahead and get into today's lesson and finish it up. Okay, so the first example of a food chain we're going to look at is this very, very simple one right here. We start with grass, go from grass to zebra, and zebra to lion. Example we're going to look at has a little bit more to it, and this one is a picture example of another food chain as well. So with this one, we start off with grass. We go from grass to grasshopper, grasshopper to frog, frog to snake, and then snake to eagle. So again, we know that the sun is the primary source of energy. They just didn't list it here. And you're going to see the more that we look at food webs and food chains, the sun is not always listed as the very first part of the chain. It should be because it's the primary source of energy, but it's not, okay? Again, just a very simple from one to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, until it's over, beginning to end food chain. So the grass uses the energy from the sun to complete the process of photosynthesis and make its own food, correct? Then, according to the chain, it looks like we have grasshoppers who come and eat grass. Now, if grasshoppers eat only grass or only plants, what does that make them? Herbivores. You are correct, okay? So moving on a little bit higher up the food chain, we have a frog, and it looks like the frog eats the grasshoppers, and I also know that frogs eat plants as well. So if frogs are eating animals and they're also eating plants, what does that make them? You are correct. They are omnivores. Moving a little bit higher up the food chain, we then have the snake. The snake eats the frogs. We also know from our background knowledge and just from the other 2 videos that snakes eat rodents, they eat insects, they eat birds. All of those are what? Animals, okay? Which would make the snake a carnivore, correct? And if we want to move one higher up the food chain, then we have our eagle, and eagles are also carnivores. They eat only animals. Okay, good. Those were a couple of different food chains. Now, if you remember, a food web is made up of lots of different food chains. And that's what we're going to be looking at today to wrap up part 1 of Unit 5. Okay, so I have the STEMscopedia that we have been working on pulled up. And if you scroll down to page 5, you'll see this blank food web right here. And it says, what do you know at the top? And this is what we're going to be working on together today. I know there was like 2 people who have already done this. Totally fine. Just use this to check your work as we go. If you did do anything wrong, just pause the video, make the correction, and think to yourself before moving on. Okay, why did I get this wrong? What did I understand? What did I not understand? And if you're just really confused as to why something is wrong, as usual, message me, email me, and I will help you out with the understanding part. Okay. What do you know? Read about the parts of a grassland food web in the chart below. Use the information from the chart to complete the food web diagram. Fill in each box with the correct organism. Then label each organism in the food web diagram as a producer or a consumer. So it looks like we have 2 steps here. Our first step is going to be to fill in this food web correctly. And then our second step is going to be to go back through the food web and label each component as either a producer or a consumer. So let's jump right in. Okay, so it looks like they've already started the food web off for us with the sun. Why would they start the food web off with the sun? Why is that the first thing we see here? You are correct, because the sun is our primary source of energy. All right, so that being said, that is why the sun is first. So it looks like from the sun, we're moving down to one item right here. We'll go this way, end up going this way, and this way, and then it looks like we should be ending right here. Okay. Let's look at the different organisms that we have here. Looks like we have a snake who eats grasshoppers. We have a hawk who eats snakes and sparrows. We have a sparrow who eats grasshoppers and spiders. We have a grasshopper who eats grass. We have grass who makes its own food. And then we have spiders who eat grasshoppers. Moving on, we know that the next organism in the food web has to be a producer. It has to be an organism that can only receive its energy from the sun. Now, how does that happen? Well, the process of photosynthesis. We've talked about this already. So looking at our organisms, which one of these organisms would be okay, they'd live just fine getting their energy only from the sun? If you know it, awesome. If you're still not sure, let's start to eliminate some of the contestants in the running. So a snake, we know that a snake can't survive off of sunlight only. A hawk, that's a kind of bird if you weren't sure. A hawk cannot survive off of sunlight only. A sparrow is another type of bird. A sparrow cannot survive off of sunlight only. Grasshopper, it tells us right here that grasshoppers eat grass, so we know that they can't get their energy from the sun only. The grass makes its own food. How does it make its own food? By the process of photosynthesis. How does photosynthesis happen? With energy from the sun. So it looks like grass could possibly be our answer. And then spiders. Do spiders stay alive by just staying in the sunlight and getting their energy from the sun? They do not. So our answer to go in this box is the word grass. Okay, and then y'all already know how I do. I like to cross things out as I go. So the next step after grass, we know is going to have to be an organism who eats grass, who can live off of grass. Okay, remember this is a food web, a food chain. Each organism is giving energy to the next organism. So which organism from our list can live by eating grass only? I'm going to give you guys a few seconds to read through what we have left on our table. There's only one of these organisms that can survive off of grass only. And if you picked grasshopper, you were correct. So it looks like there is 3 directions, 3 different organisms that the grasshopper gives energy to. So let's use our table right here to help us fill in those 3 boxes. Who are grasshoppers giving their energy to? I'll give you a couple seconds to read through the table. Make sure you're reading through everything. Which of these 3 organisms eat grasshoppers? They get their energy from grasshoppers. Okay, if you said snakes, sparrows, and spiders, you were correct. Okay, we are left with one last box, which is the top of the food chain, and we're also only left with one more organism, which is the hawk. Now, I know from my own background knowledge that this is correct. The hawk is at the top of this food chain. If you're unsure, you can use your facts from your table right here just to double check your food web. So we filled in the food web from beginning to end. Now we're going to go from end to beginning to double check our work, okay? So according to the table, hawks eat snakes and sparrows. Let's make sure our web actually matches that. So hawks eat snakes and sparrows. Good. Okay. So according to our table, snakes eat grasshoppers. Does that match up? Yes, it does. Grasshoppers eat grass. Does that match up? Yes, it does. And then we know that grass gets its energy from the sun. So that looks so far so good. Let's check some sparrows. So sparrows eat grasshoppers and spiders. Okay, good. Spiders eat grasshoppers. Okay, good. Grasshoppers eat grass. Okay, good. So it looks like we are good to go. One spot where you may have messed up and you might be a little confused right now because your answers are not looking like mine is right here. Okay, so when we were filling in these three, I should have slowed down a little bit. So when we were filling in these three boxes right here, I didn't say this out loud at the time, and I should have, but you just want to make sure that you are filling each one into the right box. So for example, if you're putting spider right here, do spiders actually eat only grasshoppers? Yes, they do. Okay, cool. Because if you were to put spider in this box or this box, it probably wouldn't work the same because it doesn't say that hawks eat snakes and spiders or sparrows and spiders. It says that hawks eat snakes and sparrows. So if something is not looking right, that could have been one thing you did wrong is you just filled these three in randomly and you weren't really paying attention to where you're putting them as you went. All right, and that is our finished grassland food web right there, guys. Okay, I didn't want to leave us off with anything too heavy today. It's Friday. Just wanted to give y'all a nice visual of what a food chain looks like. So to go ahead and wrap us up today, I'm going to remind y'all one more time of our wrap-up activity that y'all should have already been working on. Remember, this activity is due this coming Monday, March 30th. If you are unsure of what to do or where the instructions are, they're in the same article that we've looked at every day of this week in each video. That article is linked in the description box of each video. It's right here for you to see in the video, and it's also the STEMscopedia article that I assigned to y'all on STEMscopes if you need it in another place. I believe if you open it up on there, or even if you click the link below, you are able to save the article to your computer. If you're not, let me know and I can email you a copy of it if you would like to save it to your computer. And yeah, so this is it. So y'all are working on a food web or food chain. So yeah, that brings us to the end of part 1, producers, consumers, and food webs of Unit 5, sharing the planet. We will come back and probably do one big review at the end of the unit, but if not, please let me know if there are any more questions. If there's anything that you are just still not understanding, I am more than happy to help you and just make sure that these videos are not going to waste and you're actually learning something from them, okay? So that being said, you guys have a great weekend. Please don't forget to send me the pictures of your food chain models, your food web models as you finish them. And I will see y'all on Monday with a new video. Bye guys, miss y'all, love y'all.